You didn't realize that your greatest superpower that you ever have as a man is not what you can do. It's your presence.
Have I really made the investment in my children that I thought I was making? Have I made the impact? Continue to live in a space where entitlement doesn't encourage you to look for a result that it may not be given to you in the timeline that you expect.
We don't get permission or try to get approval or try to get acceptance of what we gotta do to keep showing up.
Reach out to one person and say, look, I'm thinking about you. I know life grabs a hold of you sometimes. I want to let you know that I'm here for you.
What's up, fam? It's another episode of the Boy Man King podcast, and I'm your main man, Coach Crump, and I'm with my right hand man, co-host Chizzy. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday to you, man. Welcome. Thank you for joining Boy Man King, man. It's me and Crump today. We're going to have a nice conversation for you guys to consume, and we want to hear from you, man. So hit us up on our platform at Boy Man King Talk, man. Give us some, we'll shout you out. Tell us what you want us to talk about. But we're here today. We're going to chop it up, man. What you got for us today, man? I know you be coming out of left field sometimes, bro.
No, I'm not coming out left, but we've been building on some great conversations, man. Been talking about some incredible topics just as men. And one, in my journey of mentoring a lot of men, Chizzy, like I've been blessed to mentor thousands of men over these past 20 years. And man, I'm in my 20 plus year bag, getting a lot of revelations. And I realized that one of the things that I wasn't able to provide that I can provide now is an incredible principle that I want to share. And I think you can relate to this, man, is the power of patience.
The power of patience.
Yeah, the
Wow.
power of patience, man. I realized, and shout out to the team, Kai, King Noel, man, I'm winning now because I ran 10, 15, 20-year plays.
Yeah.
And when I talk to a lot of men, we have a lot of resentment and frustration and anger because things are not the way you would like it to be in year 3, 4, 5, 10, 12. When I gotta tell you some hard truth, when you're building a legacy, it's a generation on top of a generation.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you was talking about if you want to get into a marriage, if you want to raise a family, you should be thinking 40 years out. You shouldn't be questioning a lot of things until about year 35. But what happens is we get into year 3, we get into year 8. We're like, man, she ain't giving up the cookies. You know what I mean? She talking to me wild, and you don't realize she's showing up every day.
Yeah.
You don't realize that she's contributing to some form to the household. You don't realize she's giving her time, her energy, her effort on some level. You didn't realize the children are going through a phase. You didn't realize that your greatest superpower that you ever have as a man is not what you can do. It's not what you can achieve. It's your presence.
Yeah, for sure.
Your presence is the greatest thing. There was just a episode on Shannon Sharp with Damon Wayans,
Yeah.
and he was saying what made it powerful. He was saying, I hope all of our children, like all of our brothers, we're successful because my dad was a Superman. And the reason why he said his dad was a Superman, because he did the greatest thing a dad can do, show up.
Show up. Show up.
And he's like, he showed up. And here's the thing, right? Because kids see it all. Why his mother was beating him over the head was just unnecessary. He was like, man, why you treat dad like that? Like the kids gonna see through it all over time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but so he asked his dad later as an adult, why you kept showing up? Well, mom was just like, he was like, my biggest thing was y'all. My biggest thing was boom. And it's like we can, as a man who had 15 years of frustration with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
I've just walked in bliss the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can, as a man who had consistent, justifiable, logical, explainable, rational frustration with my partner, not realizing that a lot of stuff had to be broken and broken away, and it was going to take 15 years for it to happen. Because in these 2 years of her growth and development, but also in my experience with her, I can barely remember the feeling of the 15. I have to go back, Chizzy. I have to mentally take myself back to like, yo, that was a dark. But like these 2 years have almost, not quite, I ain't gonna hold you, dismissed the whole 15 years. But it's like here's the bigger thing, Chizzy. I can reflect now, and I know you can speak to this as we be honest as men. I can see now what that 15 years was doing to me and my training and development. There were some things that I was actually lacking,
Mhm.
that it took what it took for everything to be exposed through her and me, with God, with life, with children, to really see like, I got it, Lord. Like I needed another level of patience. I need another level of empathy. I need another level of endurance that I only got because I went through that. Does that make sense? And I give it to you.
I'm going to take a different take on patience. Obviously, from my experience, co-parenting, post-divorce,
Hmm.
having a 22-year-old, having a 17-year-old, experiencing some challenges. I'm trying to
Mm,
co-parent from a distance. Patience for me looks like knowing that everything that I'm working for, everything that I've said and I've done will bear fruit in the future.
mm,
And so it's less about wanting to feel the benefit of that
mm.
investment now, and
Come on.
more about knowing that consistency and, like you said, showing up and continuing to replay those messages and continuing to be that voice and continually, having an expectation and trying to infuse values and morals into my children under this unnatural environment that both, their mom and I created, this thing called divorce and separation. Patience looks very different. And I know I'm speaking for a lot of brothers out there who are
But I want to
saying,
speak, but I'm bringing this up because I want you to speak right to it because you've been
yeah,
through a recent situation. I didn't know how fresh,
yeah,
you felt comfortable, but I felt
yeah,
like it was very real, very practical that
yeah,
you was like, yo, you was in a space with your kids, like, and we,
yeah.
and all of us as your brother was just
We're gonna
like,
chop it
bro,
up. We're gonna talk about it. You know me, I'm an open book, so that's all
yeah.
good. I
I
love
was
it.
like, I was like, it's they gonna need you, bro. Like we all live life long enough. Like there's no getting around that your children are going to need you. So it's gonna come back because I seen the seeds that you planted, and you just had some recent breakthrough. Kind of give context to, but all of that stuff you got to deal with as a man. Like you was, I would let you speak to it, but I feel like we
Yeah,
talking about patience because you could have need a jerk reaction, or you call
yeah,
him and you
yeah,
do this and let me fly over. You was like, look.
exactly.
I gotta make sure I'm good. I gotta
Yeah,
make sure I'm stable, and they gotta and the fruit will eventually bear. Like
it'll
talk
be,
about it,
it'll
bro.
germinate when it's ready, and you got to continue to plant. You still got to water the seed. You still got to plant seeds. For me, in a different space, moving away from the kids was
Mm,
extremely difficult for
can only
them
imagine,
and
bro.
me. You know what I mean?
And let me just
22
say this:
right?
Chizzy is such a good father that as a father, I got some of my blueprint from him. His level of engagement,
I
his
appreciate
level
that.
of care. I was actually more my dad's DNA, like because that was the example I have. So do what I say, ironclad fist. I show up every day, I come home every day, and I provide every day. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
damn it, that's it. Hey,
I
y'all.
say it. Yeah, let's live it. It is what it is. So that they,
But watching you when we was a teen, you say 12 years ago, and you was like, hey baby, you on FaceTime as she's getting her hair done, and y'all just talking for like an hour as she's getting her hair done, and you like, hey son, how you doing? And the level of care and conversation you had with them, I was like, man, I don't do that. I
right.
don't I don't do that with my children. So that's that. So I want to help people understand what we're talking about when you talk about a level of a father who cares and is in that level of engagement who's now living in another country.
Yeah,
Go
it's
ahead.
funny because I was talking to my son last night. You know, it's amazing how God works, right? Because if you asked me 3 weeks ago, I'll be
Two or
like,
three weeks ago. Come on, I need to hear this. If you asked
yo,
you two
if
or
you
three
asked
weeks
me two
ago,
or 3 weeks ago, I'll be like, yo, I don't know, bro. I feel like I did something wrong with them kids. I feel like I
mm,
feel like there's something going on. But then to come full circle, and my son and I were talking last night for a good hour, and the maturity, just listening to him and getting him, he's now at a phase where you know, he's trying to figure himself out. He's 22. And I'm like, bro, I'm hurt for you. You ain't got, even though I'm hurt, like, you don't have to do any of this for us. So we talked about rites of passage. We talked about mentorship. We talk about all of these things that kids need. Um, but it warms my heart to know that we talk about patience, that some of
mm,
the fruits that I dropped, and so I would ask him simple questions like, look, if you look at it, I'm just going to tell you people a little bit about my circumstances. I moved to Canada 2 and 3 times to be a
mm.
resource for my kids. So leaving, packing up everything in Bermuda. First moved them when my daughter was 4. She's 17 now.
And
Moved
got
to
and got no
Canada,
and got no job because you got no papers.
no job, no papers, all of that. So this most recent time, went back out there, tried to go back to school. The government was acting crazy. They refused 2/3 of the applicants. 600,000 plus people were refused study permits. So I had to figure it out. So come full circle, I'm back here in Scotland. And of course, kids want what they want. They want the dad to run. They get angry, like the silent treatments, the anger, like, why are you leaving us? All of that type stuff. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm like, man, have I
Mm,
really made the investment in my children that I thought I was making? Have I made the impact in the lives that I thought I was making? All of those sacrifices. Kids, they just want their parents. They're not
mm.
looking at it from the perspective of, this is definitely a reflection of his commitment to us as children, because he's willing to drop his entire life, no matter where he is, no matter where we are in the world, so that he can be accessible and a resource to us. So my son and I had that conversation yesterday, and I'm like, I need you to shift your lens. You're old now. You're 22. You should be able to, as a man, you should be able to look at this thing devoid of emotion and say categorically, what does it look like when somebody who loves me and cares for me and wants me to win, what does that look like?
Yeah, so
Can you
true.
honestly tell me that in your life, no, daddy, I know your commitment to us. I know you love us. I know you want us to be there. I know you want us to win. I know, and that's all I needed to hear from him. So when it comes down to patience, what we're talking about now, just
Mm,
that echo of appreciation from my son, in spite of everything that his experience, in spite of feeling like, I'm not her, and his sort of figure out some things on his own, that warmed my heart and made it all worth it. So to your point, all the investment you made for all of those years now in the last 2 years, and I'm not saying tomorrow is going to be a bed of roses and you don't continually have to water the plant and make sure there's enough nutrients and do all of those things that are
but
green.
some of the things but some of the things you gotta do, Chizzy, I give a little pushback is because you gotta do nothing sometimes.
Sometimes you got to do nothing. And so for
Yeah,
me, that
yeah.
step back, that evaluation, that, all right, in order for me to be the best for them, I
Mm,
had to do a lot of work continually. We talk
mm,
about this all the time. In different phases of your life, there was a phase of my life where I was grounded, where I was in Bermuda, the money was flowing consistently. This is a different phase of my life now. Going back to school, I'm in a whole new country, trying to buy a house or trying to establish some roots in a whole different country. But this is the, and if you would have told me 2 years ago that I would be in the United Kingdom, I'd have been like, nah, I'm gonna be in Canada. Everything's gonna be all right. But our plans, God's plans are very different. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah.
just embrace all of that. So back to bringing it full circle to patience. I still have to make the investment. I still have to know that everything that I'm doing in God's purpose is a benefit to my children, it's a benefit to the people around me, it's a benefit to my loved ones, and to zero
Mm,
in on my grounding, as you were saying before. Because I know there are people that are watching. I know there's listeners are gonna be like, I'm going through some things, man. Like, and I don't feel. I feel like I made investments in my kids, and I made investments in stuff, and it hasn't borne the fruit that I thought it would bear. You know what I mean? But I'm here to
but
tell
I
you.
okay, go ahead. Sorry, bro.
No,
You
no,
can
no.
tell me.
I'm here to tell you. Continue to be consistent. Continue to live in a space where entitlement doesn't encourage you to look for a result that it may not be given to you in the timeline that you expect. Be
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah,
Have your be able to recognize that this is your investment. As you if you
yeah.
water a plant, you put it in the ground. It takes 3 to 4 months sometimes for it to actually grow. For you to see something, you have to have that sort of mindset when it comes to, um, you know, bearing, having a plant germinate and bear fruit. And patience is one
But
of
I
those things that you learn.
yeah, but in that patience, what I really want to have as a practical piece
Hmm.
for our followers, our listeners, and our viewership to take away is that you had to focus as to be the best version for you to anybody
Yeah,
was the first be good to yourself.
yeah,
You know,
facts.
so what I want to get lost, the reason why, one of the number one reasons why I was able to endure is because there was always an element of self-care
Yeah,
during the process. So
and
it's
that's
like,
that grounding. That's that grounding that I got 4 years ago when I first entered into when we first started Boy Man King, and I was on the prayer line. I think without a shadow of a doubt, the man that I am today
mm,
is 100% attributed to getting those reps in 3 to 4 years ago.
mm,
Because if it was me 3 4 years ago in this circumstances right now, it'll be bad, bro. It'll be real
mm,
bad. I have to thank God, and I thank yourself. I thank the prayer line, people like BK, people like ET for putting in place, for really, really putting in a structure for men to
mm,
really feel supported, rites of passage, be held accountable. I think that's the other part that men
come
feel
on,
realize the accountability piece, because I'm a man. Like nobody can tell me nothing. My chest is big. Like I'm got muscles. I'm 6'3". Nobody can tell me nothing. But accountability is less about stature and more about the respect that you have that somebody has been through something that you're going through that they can give you
mm,
wisdom from. You know what I
come on.
mean? So yeah,
And I
man.
pray, I pray that as we share, that you guys take the wisdom of like, well, how do you get to patience, and how do I start like making sure that part of your self care includes time with God,
Hmm.
time with self, like in the things that you enjoy. Like don't. So part of patience is pain, right? And pain on all fronts. So some of the patients you experience pain, your significant other experience pain, your children experience
Yeah.
pain, your pockets experience pain. But you do have to be somewhat unapologetic about, for me to keep showing up for such a long period of time.
Unnecessary
I
level of
I
selfishness.
can't I cannot compromise on my faith.
Hmm.
I cannot compromise on me chopping it up with the fellas, working out. And for whatever God group at that time that works for you, for me was the hooping scene. For
Hmm.
me, it was men of elk who was trying to be progressive or progressive entrepreneurs or people in the spirit. Like I can't just be like, oh yeah, I got your back, and then I completely neglect my humanity. I have
Right.
to do what I have to do to feed myself spiritually, do what I need to do to feed myself socially, do what I do to feed myself physically, and do what I do to feed myself economically. And that's not anyone else's responsibility. And you cannot let anyone else self sabotage or play influence to
Right.
make you play like you doing something wrong, because you're making sure that you're straight so that you can show up for them when they
Facts.
need you to show up for them, however they need them to show up for them. So it's important that in processing patience, that self-care as the pain happens helps you to endure.
Yeah. Yeah.
all the pain from yourself and from others. It's like if I would have neglected myself spiritually, I stayed connected to God. If I
Hmm.
would have neglected myself working out with the national team, traveling with the national team, playing in the men's league, doing whatever I felt like, hey, I need to get out here and chop it up, in which we get to banter, which I get to express, which I
Yeah.
get to release, play flag football. Like those things are not something that I'm just like if somebody's questioning you doing the things that help you show up to be you, they're not
They're not
in
in
your
your
best
corner.
interest.
Yeah.
But also to the defense of children and women, they'll never get it. So you trying to explain it to them is a rat race.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's dope about me and my wife too, we don't explain she don't explain to me, baby, I need to do Zumba because Zumba is a thing for me. Baby, I need to join this. Bye.
Just
Like
go.
like like whatever you gotta go do to
Yeah.
keep showing up in this house, go do it. And it's the
Yeah.
same for me. We don't get permission or try to get approval or try to get acceptance of what we gotta do to keep showing up in this world and this thing we call life. Like, no, for me, where I'm at, for what I got going on, I need certain elements to help me endure so
Mhm.
that I can be in the best stuff I know how to practice patience. And I
Yeah.
just want to add that as we close. Chizzy, what's your final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first step is being able to identify your support system. And it doesn't have to be a bunch of people, it doesn't have
Mm,
to be conventional methods. It may not necessarily be physical presence of people. It could be a resource. It could be a boy man king. It could be a platform that is able to give you consistent messaging that allows your mental and allows your spiritual to get fed in the way it needs to be fed. So identify a good support system. I have an amazing support system in my parents, my sister, and my brother, and yourself. And that what I do recognize is as you get older, your circle gets smaller and smaller. Like I may know a lot of people, but intimately and emotionally, psychologically, there are a lot of things that I just won't share with just everybody. There's only a few people, yourself included, my parents, my sister, my brother, that I share intimate stuff about what I'm struggling with emotionally because some people don't get it. Because remember, you're still a man.
mm,
There's still an expectation for you to present in a particular
come
way.
on.
So I would
You
encourage
better.
brothers to be like, identify individuals who can give you sound advice, who can be a sounding board for you in a non-judgmental way, that just want to hear you out, that will actually hold you accountable. Because it's not always about I'm gonna talk to this person because the yes man and they say everything that I need to hear. No, you want people in your corner that's gonna say, nah, bruh, you was wrong. You should have did X, Y, and Z. And that's really when you get to determine who really cares for you, who wants to see
Mm,
you win, who loves you, who genuinely has a desire for you to be the best version of yourself. Because there's a lot of yes men out there. The bigger your
yeah.
circle is, the greater the yeses will be. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Um, but yeah, man, if you have any desires, any needs, anything that you want to talk to our platform about, feel free to hit us up. Coach Crump, Chizzy BDA on Instagram. Hit us up. Hit up the platform, man. We would love to be a resource. Do yourself a favor. If reach out to a brother that you know and say, look, man, I'm thinking about you. I'm there for you. I'm gonna challenge everybody who's listening to this today. Reach out to one person and say, look, I've been thinking about you. We used to talk often. I know life grabs a hold of you sometimes, but I want to let you know that I'm here for you. Because we have this thing that we say, yo, you're cool? And your answer will be, yeah, I'm all right. But then we don't really want to engage at a level that makes you feel like that all right doesn't have an
mm,
undercurrent. You know what I'm saying? So, make yourself available to a brother, at least one brother, and say, look, man, you want to talk, I'm here for you. And
mm.
sometimes talking vulnerability starts with the individual. You be vulnerable first, and that opens up the door. So that's just my encouragement for anybody that's watching, who's having struggles that they feel like they may not be able to talk to.
I love it, man. You heard it from Chizzy himself. I think that's a great time to close, man. On behalf of the Boy Man King, please follow us, like and subscribe and
Yes,
share
sir.
these gems that were shared today about the power of patience. And man, we're super excited. Check out our next episode. Make sure you tap in and send us a message if you got things that you want us to talk about, even guests you want us to interview. We would love to hear from you, man. As we say on the Boy Man King podcast, the journey
But it
continues.
continues.
We out.